are some intangibles that those projections failed to take into consideration.
The crowd was going crazy. There's not much in life that's better than that.
You're listening to Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys on the 95.7 The Game Podcast Network.
Hello there, Sam Lubman here on the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast, and we are joined this week by ace of the Giants pitching staff, the pride of Rockland High out of Folsom. This year he signed a brand new 5-year, $90 million deal, coming in right now with a 3.09 ERA, is 84 innings, lead the National League right now. Talk about Logan Webb. Logan, how are you doing today?
Doing good. I will say I'm in Rockland, not Folsom. So
Rockland High was in Folsom, though, right?
No,
oh, it's not.
No.
Rockland. Okay.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes away, but
we'll start that over. Maybe we just start that over again.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We don't have to. It's I only say that because they beat us and everything. So I don't want Folsom claiming the Rockland area.
All right. I should know when I was in high school, we actually went up to Rockland and played you guys in football,
okay.
and you guys waxed the crap out of us. So that was back in 2009, actually,
okay.
which is way long ago than it should be, I feel like. So, let's talk about your time at Rockland to start things off here, because I know you played football there as well. Was the plan always baseball, or was there a time in your life where you thought, you know what, maybe I do have a life on the gridiron?
I would say when I was a junior in high school, I ended up playing on our team just because our starting quarterback got hurt, and I ended up having a really good year, and I started talking to some teams, but it was nothing crazy. It wasn't big D1 schools or anything like that, but there was a time where I thought I might play football, and then I was just better at baseball, to be honest.
So this week, you got to go back to Coors Field. Pitching at Coors Field has always been an adventure for the Giants ever since the Rockies came around. This is your 5th year in the league. You've pitched at Coors a lot. What's kind of like your process? Do you have like a secret for pitching at Coors Field? What's pitching at Coors Field like for you now?
I would say, I've had good ones and I've had bad ones. I think it's just throwing strikes. I think whenever you let them get on base, it's just an extra run on the base paths, and like every time you walk a guy, it scores at that place. In baseball in general, walks score more than not. So, but I think that place especially, you walk a guy, it ends up changing the way you're throwing and attacking guys. And I know for my last one, I walked a guy, then I started just leaving stuff over the place. So it's just kind of how it works. I wouldn't say there's a secret to pitching there, right? I feel like every game you pitch is different there, but I think if you make sure you don't walk anybody, I think that's a good start.
Getting a sweep in Denver, you guys have been doing a lot of winning at Coors Field lately, but getting a sweep like that, 2 comeback wins, how much does that fire up this clubhouse?
Yeah, it was awesome. The first game we came out hot, and second game I didn't do a very good job, but the guys had my back. They probably saved me a couple runs, honestly, with some great defensive plays, and then we just started some rallies, and I think both of our times that we had big rallies, it started with a walk. So whenever we're seeing the ball like that, I think it gives us a chance, and that place you can win or lose with 1 inning. So thankfully we have the last one in both of the games, having the big inning, and came out on top. But yeah, it's definitely huge coming back, and I think it's just staying true to ourselves and knowing that we can win any baseball game, no matter how much we're down, right? I think that was a big theme in 21 when we won a lot of games when we'd come back in games, and I think that's a good theme to start early, and hopefully keep it going.
Yeah, you guys did. Comeback wins were a big part of 21. Got a couple of them this week. When you get a couple comeback wins like that, how much kind of confidence does that give this team that, hey, on a given night, game, we can still get back into this and win this? Yeah,
it's huge. I think whenever you feel like you're always in the game, it's a big thing, no matter what inning it is, and we can come back even if it's a 3-4 run deficit in the 7th or 8th inning. I think it's big for sure.
You guys got your full lineup on the field this week. When this lineup's fully healthy, what do you think this lineup's capable of, and how far do you really think this lineup can carry this team the rest of this season?
It's actually pretty cool to see I know we actually haven't hit that many home runs the last month, which is not normal for us. We hit a lot of home runs, and we're still winning baseball games. I think we got a winning record since the beginning of May, and it just shows that we're not just one-dimensional team. And I think if we all trust each other, and as pitchers, it's always, whenever you got a lineup like that that's able to come back in games, or do it by putting a bunt down or hitting a single in a big moment. I think it's always good for us to have that confidence in them, and I think this is a confident group in itself, right? They all know what they're capable of and what they're really good at. So sticking true to that, and I think it's hopefully the healthy the health bug stays with us, right? I don't think we've had a time this year where we've really been at full health, and I think that Colorado series was the first time we've really done that. And we didn't even have Patty for 2 of the games, so it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to see these guys at full health, and I know what they're capable of, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, speaking of Patrick Bailey, what's it been like working with him so far since he's been called up? What's really stood out to you about what he does, and what's impressed you about him so far?
Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with all 3 of the catchers that we have. Him, Joey, and Blake have done a great job. 3 young guys catching besides really me and Doval, more of a veteran group of guys, and I thought they've done really, really well, and I'm just excited to see that. But yeah, I think Patty has this calming presence back there, where as a pitcher you always feel like you're gonna be all right, no matter how shitty the situation is, and he always has that calming little presence to him. So I think that's a big thing to have, and I think that him having that is huge.
Obviously, we all remember how fun 2021 was. Last year was kind of a bit of a grind at times. This year it feels a little bit better. What about this year's team is better than what was going on with the team last year?
I don't know. It's so hard to say. There was a time last year where we were in first place. I think it was at the end of April we were in first place, and you never really know what's going to happen. But I think if we stay consistent with what we're trying to do, and just go out and try to play good baseball and keep things, I think it's important to just stay away from like losing streaks and stuff like that. So if we can do that, I think we'll be all right.
So April was a tough month for you, while Alex Cobb, Anthony DeSclafani, they were having a great month. Mania Stripling, they've been kind of up and down throughout this year. Alex Wood, he's kind of shown some frustration as he tries to make it through 5 innings right now. How much kind of do you guys as a pitching staff kind of talk to each other and kind of pick each other up when you guys are kind of going through ups and downs throughout the season? Yeah,
I think, in a baseball season, you're going to have months where you're really good and months where you're kind of grinding a little bit. So that's every season. I think even looking back at 21 when we had a really good year, there were months where I wasn't very good, and then there was months I was good. There was months when Gausman was the best pitcher in baseball, and there's months where he was struggling a little bit. I think you look around baseball, everyone's kind of like that. So I think if we just stick to, like you said, trusting each other and helping each other out as much as we can, and kind of feeding off each other is, I think, a huge thing. And when we do that, we all know, those guys have been around, all of them have been around, probably close to 10 years, so they get it. And this is my 5th year, so I just know that if you stick to your process, stick to your plan, everything's gonna be all right. Even though I wasn't feeling good or I wasn't throwing very well in the month of May or the month of April, I knew my peripherals were good, so it's just sticking to the process, and we're all kind of the same way. I think we're still 8th or 9th in baseball in ERA, and I think that's a credit to the veterans that we have, the group that we have, and the coaching staff for just believing in us every time we go out there.
So obviously defense was kind of a struggle at times for this team this year it's a completely different story. Like every night you see what JD's doing, Casey, Tyro Estrada at second base, Lamont's killing it first. You got Brandon Crawford coming off the bench, and he's the most established Gold Glover on this team. How much confidence does it give you and the rest of this pitching staff knowing that you have such a great defensive unit behind you this year? Yeah,
I think that's another part where it's kind of hit or miss, right? There's just I felt like last year there was just a lot of hard plays to be made. Playing baseball is not an easy sport, especially defense, right? You're hitting 100 miles per hour, and if it hits off your glove, it's an error, right? So it's
cruel game at times, yeah.
Cruel game. So I think I feel like it's a kind of an up and down thing. It's always different year to year, and I think this year we just I think, like I said before with the pitchers, right? It's just sticking to your process and know it's gonna turn out all right. I think they've done an incredible job.
Logan Webb joining us here on the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast, making this a second appearance on the podcast last year. We chatted last September, and I remember you said something last September where you said that you pitched a lot better in 2021 than you did in 2022. Coming into this year, do you feel like you're pitching better this year than you were last year?
Like I said, there's a long season to go. I could have the best month of my career. I could have the worst month of my career. So I don't really know. When we talked last year, that was September, so it was later in the year. So I kind of had a full season to dissect that. But, I do think I'm throwing the ball, I think my velo's back up a little bit. I'm still working on my slider a little bit, but I do feel just more comfortable and confident in my mechanics and everything I'm doing out there. So for now, yes, I do think I feel better, right? Like, I think pitching is also a big confidence thing, and I have that back. So I'm excited to have that back and just try to keep it going.
Yeah, no, I'm obviously rooting for you to do it because it's obviously a lot of fun when you're dealing. And yeah, you got the strikeouts going this year. You've been a really real innings eater this year. What's it like to be sitting at the top of the National League innings leaderboard right now?
Oh yeah, I think it's cool to have, right? I just it's also a testament to the coaching staff and Cap trusting me to go out there. Even if I give up a couple of runs, still go out there and give a couple more innings, right? And so I think it's been great. Hopefully I keep it going. Try to get some 8s and 9s in there, hopefully at some point. But just keeping it going and trying to give the guys as many innings as I can.
So I also remember when we talked last year, I mentioned that, I could see you being kind of like that next face of the franchise guy, following Buster, Mad Bum, all those guys. And then the Giants went out and they gave you this 5-year, $90 million deal, which kind of anointed you right now as you're kind of the guy on this team right now. Talk about what that moment meant to you, getting that deal. What was that like when the Giants approached you about signing this contract?
Yeah, it was a long process, but I think it's good for both of us. I know I'm super excited. My family's excited. I'm just excited to be here for the next 6 years and hopefully more. So I can say I'm just super happy to be here. I don't know if I would say I'm necessarily the face, right? As long as there's always, it's hard as a pitcher, right? I'm only out there once every 5 days, so I think we got some good leadership already. I'm just going to try to do my best to lead the pitching staff and hopefully lead by example with the stuff I do in between. And hopefully, there's a lot of young guys coming up now, and it's fun to watch them, right? I think there's plenty of guys that are capable of being the face of the franchise. We still have Brandon Crawford here, right? So I think he would be our face, right? And that's a guy that I've been lucky enough to play with for the last 5 years and learn from and watch. And to be honest with you, I've been really lucky in general just to have a lot of good veteran guys that just know how to get the job done and know how to be true professionals. And lucky to say I learned from them, and hopefully I keep learning, right? I still got a lot of good veteran guys on the squad, so excited.
Yeah, do you find yourself kind of becoming more of a vocal leader this year? I know, Matt, you said you're kind of more of a lead by example guy. Have you been more vocal and kind of talking with guys, helping guys out, or are you just kind of sticking to, come here, show you guys how it's done, and we're all going to kind of, make this work? I
think, it's a team for a reason, right? We all feed off each other. So as much as I can, I would say maybe if I have not a problem with anything, but if I think something should be changed a little bit. I think I have spoken up a little bit more this year, which I think the team really wanted me to do. And like I said, I still, everything I do, I watch other guys do and try to learn from them. So, I got a group of guys that I get to follow and watch and try to learn from, and hopefully, later down the road, maybe towards the end of my contract, I'll be in their position and be able to help the younger guys. And I think, to be honest with you, a lot of our younger guys don't need that much helping, right? They're already pretty, just great dudes, great workers, and they're guys that really just know what they're doing when they're coming to the field every day.
Logan Webb here, joining us on the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. I want to do some fun ones here before we get you out of here. Jimmy G as the Raiders starting quarterback. How do you feel about that?
I'm super excited. He's a guy. He's not many quarterbacks in the NFL have winning records, right? So he's one of those guys, and so I'm excited to have that. Excited for his leadership. I know he's hurt right now, but hopefully it kind of figures itself out, and we can see him play well and lead our team.
What was this Kings season like for you as a Kings fan, being able to see them get back to the playoffs like they did?
Oh, it was amazing. I've been a diehard Kings fan since I was super young, and I remember growing up watching the Vladdy and Mike Bibby, Bobby Jackson, Doug Christie, Peja, those teams. So that's what made me fall in love with the Kings, and I think we're starting to get that back, and it's been awesome to see. So I'm excited for their future and to keep watching them.
Yeah, how much of that series against the Warriors were you able to watch?
Yeah, I watched I think most of the games. I think the one game I didn't get to watch was we were in Mexico, so I think we were playing during the Game 7, so I actually missed that one. But I'm kind of happy I also missed it too because I didn't have to watch that. But yeah, it was awesome to watch. Hopefully we see a lot more of that in the future.
I was talking to JD Davis. Now he's also a Kings fan. Are you guys going to get up there at all and light the beam at all this season?
I'm going to try to, yeah. I went last year. I got to ring the cowbell before the game, so that was awesome. But yeah, it was they take care of me all the time, and it's awesome to be able to go up there whenever I want and do that.
Well, hopefully at some point this year they can get you up there to smash that button and get that beam lit up. So last question here for you is, in your career, what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
One night I was 2021, so 2019 I wasn't very good, 2020 I wasn't very good. Beginning of 2021 I wasn't very good either, and one night, Gosman sat me down and just said, stop putting so much pressure on yourself and have some fun when you're out there. And I tried to stay true to that, and I think my next game I had a 10 strikeout. It was my first 10 strikeout game, and he was sitting there at the end of the dugout just kind of smiling at me, right, and saying like, hey, that was pretty fun, right? Like, you had fun, you weren't putting too much pressure on yourself, you just went out there, trusted your abilities and knew you could, if you have a little fun. Yeah, I feel like sometimes as professional athletes and big leaguers, we kind of forget that we're still playing a kid's game, right? And how did we get here? We got here from having fun and playing the game the right way and doing the right things, and just getting back to that. I think that was the most important thing for me.